Morning, everyone. We have 4 elected representatives from the GTA region to chat today about the budget and some other topics. So I'll pass it over to Minister Hodgson to get us started with some opening remarks.
Great. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join me today for Budget 2025, this media event, and hopefully some very good dim sum. I'm pleased to be continuing my predecessor Mary Ng's tradition of hosting this event. As was just mentioned, my name is Tim Hodgson. I have the pleasure of being the Member of Parliament for Markham Thornhill, as well as the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources for the Government of Canada. I also have some of my parliamentary colleagues here. I would like to invite them to introduce themselves. I'll start with Jean, then to Helena, and then to Maggie.
I'm Jean Yip. I'm the Member of Parliament for Scarborough Aging Court. Through redistribution, my riding has greatly expanded from Midland to now Highway 404. We retain Steeles and the 401 as the north and southern boundaries. I'm very proud to have a large and vibrant Chinese community, and we also have some new Chinese malls that have been recently being built. I'll pass it over to Maggie, or Helena.
Hi, I'm Helena Jasic, Member of Parliament for Markham Stouffville. I recognize a lot of faces from my many, many years as an elected official. Some of you will remember I was a Member of Provincial Parliament for Oak Ridges Markham. And in contrast to Jean, my riding is getting smaller and more compact because of the amazing population growth here in York Region. So originally I was Oak Ridges Markham, all the way King Township, Richmond Hill, Whitchurch Stouffville, and Markham. And now I'm the area of Markham north of the 407 and the town of Stouffville without the Whitchurch part of Stouffville. So it's become more compact. But I'm very happy to have so many Chinese Canadians in my riding, especially where I live in Cornell. That's wonderful. Going for walks and seeing everybody at the park, kids playing together is just a joy to represent the people of Markham Stouffville. Thank you.
Okay, Maggie.
Thank you, Minister. 大家早上好，我就讲中文了，大家都能听得懂，所以就是非常方便。我是 Maggie，姓池月。这一次非常有幸，4月份的时候，选上了，就是在 Don Valley 和当河谷北区，有幸成为了这个国会议员。这次也很荣幸与部长，感谢部长 ，Thank you, Tim for organizing this。然后和几位前辈Jean 和 Helena 有幸在这里与大家见面，然后也是非常荣幸能把一些我们现在政府的一些 initiative 一些项目呀，还有一些 project 跟大家也与大家沟通一下所以这次我也很荣幸在我当河谷北区呢也是有很多的华人住在区里，这个区也是很特别，我们有一个地铁线然后也有很多华人在这边选择这边居住，也是因为学校非常的不错，医疗设施也非常的先进所以我也是非常荣幸在渥太华能代表我们这个区。Thank you everyone.
Just say 大家好開心睇到咁多人嚟參加今日。
Okay, thank you. And a couple of our colleagues, MP Sean Chen, MP Rob Oliphant, and Minister Ananda Sangari said their regrets. They very much wanted to be here today, but they had competing obligations. So let me begin by saying this year's federal budget comes at a time of real change, not just for Canada, but for the world. We're living through a period of profound transformation. The rules of the global economy are shifting. The trading system that powered Canada's prosperity for decades is being reshaped, and Canadians are feeling the effects, from affordability pressures to uncertainty about the future. But in moments like this, our new government knows that we can stand tall. We have to build. We need to build more homes, stronger industries, and a future where every generation can get ahead. That's exactly what Budget 2025 is all about. As Minister Champagne said when presenting the budget, this is not a time for small plans. Budget 2025 is a generational investment strategy, a roadmap to build Canada's economic strength at home so that we can prosper, compete, and lead in this uncertain world. It is a plan to spend less so we can invest more, to balance discipline with ambition, and to protect our fiscal advantage while building the foundations for long-term growth. Canada enters into this new era from a position of strength. We have the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the entire G7, and one of the strongest credit ratings of any advanced economy in the world. Now, our ability to act decisively and modernize our budget framework and separate day-to-day spending from long-term investment is giving us a competitive advantage. Through the comprehensive expenditure review, we are realizing $60 billion in savings over the next 5 years for Canadian taxpayers, right-sizing the government's operations, cutting red tape, and focusing the government on results. By slowing growth in direct program spending to under 1%, we are freeing up room for capital investment that will drive productivity and prosperity for Canadians. And those investments will be historic. Over the next 5 years, Budget 2025 commits $280 billion in capital investment to housing, to infrastructure, to innovation, and to energy, and will leverage more than $1 trillion in public and private investment to build the strongest economy in the G7. These investments will translate directly into support for families and communities right here in this area. This is what the budget means for every Canadian. We're cutting taxes for the middle class. We're eliminating the GST on new homes under $1 million to help more young Canadians become homeowners and help newcomers buy their first home. Here in Markham Thornhill, that will make a real difference for families working hard to plant roots and build their future here in Canada. And through our new Build Canada Homes program, we're doubling the pace of home building, investing $13 billion over 5 years to get more affordable housing built faster with Canadian softwood lumber, Canadian steel, and Canadian aluminum. We're also helping families with everyday costs that add up. The National School Food Program will provide healthy meals for 400,000 students every year, making sure kids have the food they need to learn and to thrive here at home. And we're making that program permanent because no child in Canada should go to school hungry. Budget 2025 also invests in the safety of our communities. This new government is hiring 1,000 new RCMP officers, strengthening intelligence and enforcement capacity, and establishing a new financial crimes agency to better protect all Canadians and combat money laundering and fraud. We are also investing in people right here in this region, in the next generation, and in those who will build our country. For young Canadians, we're expanding the Canada Jobs Program, a program that has been incredibly successful in our community, and a student placement program so we can get the experience they need, so they can get the experience they need to start strong in their careers. And for seniors, the Old Age Security Program will contribute to provide essential income supporting 7.5 million seniors in Canada, helping people retire with dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, Budget 2025 is about building a stronger, fairer, and more secure Canada. And that starts right here, at home. thank you, and we look forward to the upcoming discussions.
Thank you very much, Minister. I will now open the floor for questions from the media. So,
the first question?
Sure. I'll just lay out. Oh, sorry. Do you mind waiting 1 second? We'll just lay out some ground rules, and then you can have the first question.
Yeah.
But before you do your question, if you can just state your name and what outlet you're reporting from. We'll start with one question and one follow-up, and then if we have time, we can circle back if folks want to ask additional questions. As well, if your question is for any of our specific panelists, please just indicate that. Otherwise, we'll open it to any of the four who'd like to answer. All right. Go ahead, sir.
So this question is for Minister Tim Hodgson. I'm Joseph Lau from Toronto TV. I've been in business for 22 years, reporting. Okay, my question is that you're turning from businessmen to politicians. So you mentioned about the federal government will invest on housing, right? That's a housing investment for the budget. But when we look at this, it looks like the housing investment is catering for the last year's problem. This year we see the condo pricing dropping. In Toronto, more than 10 condo projects slashed. Okay, and condo investor, they're losing money. They're losing their value on their condo investment. So my question is that, is the government really think about the future of our citizens, people of the Canada, or just like fixing or patching the previous problem? Thank you.
So, real estate markets, is those of us who've been here for a long time, they go up and down. What we ultimately have is a shortage of affordable housing. We need to have more affordable housing all across this country. What this government is doing with the Build Canada Homes is committing to take annual housing starts from 240,000 a year to 500,000 a year. That will let young families have a shot at home ownership. That will make home ownership more affordable to all Canadians. It also is going to encourage more reasonably priced rental properties. And while we're doing that, we're focused on it getting built with Canadian lumber and Canadian steel and Canadian aluminum, so that our industries and all the people who work in those industries continue to have good careers, good paying jobs. Sir, my belief is markets go up and down. Our fundamental issue is we need to build more affordable housing in this country, and that's what this budget is designed to do.
Okay. Just one follow-up. Do we have enough construction workers? Thank you.
I'll let anyone else chime in who'd like to, but one of the key things this government is doing is focusing on the trades. So as part of this budget, we are working closely with unions all across the country, particularly around major projects. We're working directly with the unions so that as these projects are coming on, they are training up the electricians, the plumbers, the carpenters, the pipe fitters who will work in these trades, and we will get those workers to the right place so that they have long-term careers. I'll just go down the line.
And just to add to what Tim said, some of you know my son is a plumber, and a very proud plumber, very proud of the various buildings. He's been very involved in institutional commercial plumbing. There is a little bit of a fear, let's acknowledge it, that right now, with all the great proposals that we are putting forward in our budget, that a lot of these trades are being really pulled in many different directions. So our skilled trades programs are very important. Here in Ontario, the provincial government actually is working very hard on the skilled trades as well. So it's a bit of a challenge. Tell all your kids, like I told my son, the skilled trades are where it's going to be at for a lot of young people over the next several years for sure. And I can tell you, my son tells me, did you see the building on Yonge Street in Aurora? I just finished that long-term care home, etc. There's a lot of pride in this kind of work. It requires real skill.
We're really focused on some of the high need sectors like health, tech, and of course construction. And just the other day, I attended a housing announcement in Southwest Scarborough where there is going to be 245 units that will be part of a cooperative. Cooperative housing is really, I think, very impactful because it involves people becoming members and putting back into their community. And that's the first phase of that development. And there's 2 other phases connected to that federal land. And also, in the North York area, in Downsview, there will be over 540 units of new housing. So that is a complete housing development, a whole community being built up on federal lands.
Maggie, did you want to add anything?
Covered it perfectly.
We're good? Okay.
Great, thank you. We can move to the next question. Want to raise your hand? Go ahead.
So I'm Maggie from Single A1 and SPMG, and my question is for the job market. So especially right now for the young generations, they feel very anxiety to enter the job market. So what is 2026? Our budget have more investments to on this? Especially I know that you're from the energy department. So is that possible to help them create more job opportunities in the new clean energy or the energy sectors, or that's also for the innovations, health, or other sectors?
So I can start and I'll add. What the Prime Minister said is Budget 2025 is designed to fuel $1 trillion of new investment in this country. $1 trillion. With respect to major projects, which you're referring to, the goal of the Major Projects Office is to attract $500 billion of private sector investment to the country. When we look at the first tranche of major projects that were announced in September, those projects represent more than $60 billion of new construction activity in this country. That creates a massive amount of new jobs, many in the trades, as we were just talking about. Yesterday we announced a second batch or tranche of projects. That second batch will enable about $57 billion of new investments. Much of that, it's all across the country, but there are projects right here in Ontario, like the new nuclear at Darlington, or like the Crawford mine where I was yesterday. And this is real for all of us. I was in my riding a few days ago talking with people, and multiple of my constituents came up to me and said, "Hey, I work at Darlington. I can't believe the opportunity I have. I'm really looking forward to getting my son or my daughter to come and work there too." So I think what we're doing, and as the Prime Minister has said, is we are giving ourselves more than anyone can take away from us. Clearly the trade war has created anxiety. What the Americans are doing all around the world is creating angst because they're changing the way the world works. But if we build, if we retool, we can give ourselves more than they can take away from us. I'll see if anybody...
jumping on some healthcare pieces. 谢谢啊，我们同样的名字。刚刚部长有讲，就是在能源方面上比较就是 specific， 就是比较重点的这几个方面，在我们政府也是这次全力的在投资这方面的一些项目。因为我的那个 file 是医疗 health。这一次的 budget 其实我们这次预算在医疗上面也有很多的这样的投资，像这个5 billion 50亿的在基础建设上面，医院的升级，在建设一些社区的这一些的门诊这一些的部分，我们有很大的一些投资。在这上面呢，其实 有几方面吧，这个就是也是更多的投资也是吸引更多的人才因为华人其实很多华人的孩子在医学上面呢，还有在一些研究做 research 上面都是有非常多的成就的，所以这个也是给更多的这样的高端人才更多的机会然后我们也有就是假如说你是在国外受过这样的教育，但是在这边很多年了，一直没有办法去在自己的领域上在加拿大能施展一下自己的这样的才华，我们也有在这方面的投资，让你的在国外的这个credential 国外的这些文凭在这边能被认证之后，能在这边在医疗上面为大家服务所以这几个方面，我觉得尤其是因为华人真的很注重我们的社区真的很注重这个医疗基础建设和这个医疗上面的服务，所以我这方面真的是觉得有很大的一些 investment 的一些投资。然后最后我要讲的一点就是在 research， 我们联邦部门有个叫 Research Tri Council， 在我们底下叫 CIHR， 叫 Canadian Institute of Health Research。我们在这方面这一次的预算也是非常的大力的支持。首先，高端工作在 research 上面我们有成就的话，也能在这个全球上面有更好的一个排名，让全球知道我们加拿大的 research， 我们加拿大的研究是非常不错的。所以这方面我觉得就是尤其是对我们华人和少数族裔的群体是非常不错的 investment。
I'd just like to return back to supporting youth and jobs. Many of you may be familiar with the Canada Summer Jobs, open for youth 15 to 30. And also there is the Youth Employment and Skills Strategy. That's a strategy to support youth, whether it's helping them with interviews, resume, finding jobs, all the resources that we need to support our youth. And there is also the Student Work Placement Program, which will give hands-on experience. And I think it's really good for, in fact, myself. We support co-op students at our local high schools in our office per term. And I also want to introduce the Youth Climate Corps. That is something I am really excited about, and it will help, it's paid skills training to help youth respond to emergency climate responses and support recovery, strengthen resilience in communities, and it's something I think that youth will probably gravitate to given their concerns about the environment. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I'm probably going to be a bit repetitive, but you can see we're thinking along the same lines. I'm a great fan of Canada Summer Jobs, and Maggie, you and I were chatting about this before. I just had a young lady in my constituency tell me that because of her Canada Summer Jobs experience, she decided to shift what she was doing post-secondary, and she's going into nursing, which as a physician I was very happy to hear, because of course we really, really need a lot more health professionals, obviously, to ensure our wellness. I think, Maggie, not quite understanding everything you had to say, but I am on the Science and Research Committee, and we are actively pursuing recommendations to ensure that we allow Canadians who are perhaps in the US involved in research, especially in California, we're seeing quite a lot of interest of scientists coming back to Canada. And so there's a special program to increase research chairs at Canadian universities, and I think probably that's what you were talking about, but it really is important. And as Tim has said, of course, with what's going on south of the border, a lot of Canadians who have previously moved to the US for research opportunities are really interested in coming back, as are physicians as well. And so there's opportunity there.
Great. And we've got more money for hospitals. Next.
All right, we can open to the next question if someone wants to raise their hand. All right, we'll go to the sir in the black jacket.
Yeah, I'm Jack from CC News. So nowadays, rare earth elements is a hot topic. So does Canada have any further plan in this budget to improve Canada's capability to refining and processing the rare earth elements?
The question was around how are we improving our critical minerals capabilities. This is something that our G7 allies are very focused on. It's something that our NATO allies are very focused on. At the recent G7 meeting, it was a couple of weeks ago here in Toronto, every one of our G7 allies and several additional allies in NATO countries committed to invest capital here in Canada to help develop new mines and new processing facilities so that Canada will have complete supply chains for several critical minerals. That makes Canada strong, that makes us important to our allies, and that creates new jobs. So I'll give you one example. Nickel is a critical mineral. It's incredibly important in the making of high-quality steel. It's very important in some defense industries, in some healthcare industries. It's a situation where nickel production in the Western world has really declined. The Crawford project will involve up to, I think it's $6 billion of new investment in nickel mining and processing facilities right here in Ontario. It will create thousands of jobs, and it will make nickel available to our allies who are really looking for it. So this is something we are very focused on. It's a key part of the budget, and it's a good news story for Canada. Canada has what the world wants. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything.
I think you're the expert.
Did you have a follow-up, sir?
It's okay.
Okay, and I believe the woman in the...
question.
Okay, yep, go ahead, sir.
I'm Herbert Moon from Today Commercial News. My question is more for all Canadians. As you know, Canadian personal tax is very high in the rate. We pay a lot of personal tax. As you mentioned, there's a chance to have the personal tax reduced. So do you have any ideas of how the tax reduced, either by credit or by reduced tax rate or any other method?
So this budget enshrines a tax deduction, or a tax reduction for 22 million Canadians, reducing taxes across the board. As you know, this government also, one of its first commitments was to roll back the capital gains tax increase that had been previously proposed. This government eliminated the consumer carbon tax again, so we're taking down taxes for Canadians. What we're also doing, though, is encouraging investment. And we know that Canada is driven by small business. We know particularly that many people who immigrate to Canada decide to start small businesses. There are a number of initiatives in the budget which make it cheaper to invest in new businesses. And one of the things that the government is extremely proud of is that when you look at the tax rate for new investment in businesses, Canada now has the lowest tax rate for new business investment of any country in the G7. That means that more Canadian entrepreneurs will put money to work. That will create jobs for all the other Canadians, and this is good for Canada. So hopefully that answers your question. Anyone?
We always did have the most competitive corporate tax rate, and now it's gone even lower. And I also want to mention that in the tax cut that Minister Hodgson referred to, affecting 22 million Canadians, for a two-income family, there will be a savings of $840. And there is also the new automatic federal benefits that will impact 5.5 million Canadians. They will automatically be enrolled, and it's important to file taxes because without that, they can't receive access to benefits whether it's GIS, OAS, and that will be very helpful for that population.
In addition to a lot of the tax measures and credits that Minister Hodgson has mentioned, specific to health, we are implementing a tax credit to personal support workers. And these are the folks that really created that fortitude during COVID around long-term care homes, hospitals, home cares. So we're really supporting them with this credit, and that will help them with a bunch of measures. So very proud to support our frontline workers on this one.
And another tax incentive to encourage investment is involved in research. In other words, we have a lot of researchers looking at applied problems, practical problems across the country in both colleges and universities, and their challenge is to attract investment to actually commercialize what they're working on, whether it's a product, an idea. They need that assistance, and there is considerable tax incentive, tax credits now to involve the whole continuum from the idea through to the final product, which again has great potential for small businesses to expand.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have another question from the floor? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Jeff from the Chinese headline news media, and we know with the Middle East country, they have oil and gas, and the country really rich and benefit from the mining resource. But Canada, we have the very, very good and oil, gas, and mining resource. So our budget for government, how will make use of mining resource to improve the Canada economical and the benefit?
I'll take a stab at this, and others can chime in. So, what the Prime Minister is saying is we need to develop our natural resources in a responsible way. We need to do that in the most environmentally responsible way we can, and we need to do it in partnership with First Nations. When we do that, we will generate thousands and thousands of jobs, and we will create tax revenues through royalties and through income taxes that will generate billions and billions of dollars for Canada. When I was traveling in Europe, in Berlin recently, in London recently, what we heard over and over again from our allies is we want your natural gas, we want your oil, we want your critical minerals. And I think what Canadians are saying is if we produce these resources in a responsible way, and we do it in partnership with First Nations, and our allies want it, then that is a good thing for us. That creates the revenues that pays for $10 a day daycare. That creates the revenue that pays for the pharmacare program that we've extended. That pays for turning our school food lunch program from a temporary program into a permanent program. That makes sure we have the money to continue to have universal health care. That makes sure we have the money so that our children, when they graduate from high school, can choose to go on to an affordable university or an affordable community college or an affordable trade apprenticeship program, because we have the money to support that. So again, I think the Prime Minister has been very clear. We are blessed with these resources. We need to develop them in a responsible way, and we need to do it for the benefit of all Canadians.
Just to really echo that, we are so lucky to be here in Canada with the amazing natural resources that we have, but also such a well-educated and overall really healthy population. And so the future is bright. I like to always emphasize the positive. We are living in a very tumultuous time globally. Obviously, the situation in the United States is top of mind for many of us. However, we have to emphasize our strengths and know that the future is, I think, with our budget, is going to be even brighter. And we need to maintain that positive attitude going forward, because Canada is truly, well, I think, the best country in the world. And we just have to keep improving and making sure that we stay strong and stay together.
And I'd also like to emphasize the Buy Canadian policy. That's really important, supporting Canadian industries, our small businesses, especially in the sectors of auto, steel, lumber. And also the Canada Strong Pass. That is a very popular program that happened just this summer, and it will continue as of, I believe, December 15th, and also repeated again this upcoming summer. So let's support Canadian jobs, keep traveling, and enjoying our beautiful country, as Helena has said. And I think it's important to show our younger generation, and that's why children 17 and under with a paying adult can go on VIA for free. And youth 18 to 24 can also use VIA. Great way to see the country.
Okay, I think we have time for just one more question. Is there anyone who hasn't asked a question who wants to ask one? I just want to make sure everyone has a chance.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I went to another media conference 2 days ago. Our community clinic got $4.6 million from Ontario government to hire 7 doctors. For the last 6 months, he's fortunately got 1.5 doctors. All right, still have 5.5 doctors vacancies. So, and then the clinic hired a nurse. That nurse is from China, trained a doctor, and then got a nurse designation in Canada, working as a nurse, and he take the master course and become a nurse practitioner. Now she can act like a doctor to see the patient's consultations. All right. So when we look at that meeting conference, a lot of seniors of Chinese, their family doctors retired. He's 80, 90 years old without family doctors. And then the clinic, that clinic has some special requirements that he requires the doctor with second language capability, like Chinese, like Philippine, South Asian, so that because they have served that ethnic community. My question is that the nurse example is good. They got many professional trained overseas. Can Canada make use of those resources? Can federal government help provincial to solve the doctor shortage problem? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think you hit the nail right on the head, right? We've all heard stories of foreign-trained doctors, nurses, pharmacists, dentists. They're doing jobs outside of their professionally trained fields. So what we've been committed to do and what we've been doing over the course of the past couple of years, and in Budget 2025, we're committing additional $97 million on the foreign credentialing. This is both in healthcare and construction. Because we know there's a need. There is a need across the country, and in Ontario we sort of see it firsthand as well. We see sort of people having issues, troubles accessing primary care. And that could be family doctors, that could be nurse practitioners, that could also be a walk-in clinic, right? So budget 2025, we're doing that. We want the process to be more streamlined, but that does take a lot of coordination, and Helena will know this even more so. You have the federal government that are supporting provinces through health transfers, but the regulatory bodies, the regulatory colleges are provincially administered, and the residency spots are provincially supported. So what we're doing, we're supporting that effort. We can definitely play that coordination role to say, oh, where do you need, right? Can we help you in streamlining some of the foreign credentialing processes? And provincially, even through some of our funding mechanisms, through Health Infrastructure Fund. We're committing money to build more medical schools. We're supporting, for example, Toronto Metropolitan just opened a new medical school focused on training primary physicians. And I think once they are completed, their graduation rate is about 90 doctors per year. And so that will help. And we are supporting that with some infrastructure funding as well, building their student centers so they can keep a more sustainable rate of graduating doctors, so they can service Ontario, perhaps Canada as well. And we're also through our community work, we're doing that studying as well to see what kind of barriers we can help break down in that sense. So yeah, just want to emphasize federal coordination role, provincial, they hold the spot and they hold the regulatory body, so we're working on all fronts. And we recognize there is an issue and we are here to tackle it.
Well, certainly Maggie's explained a great deal about what is being done in Budget 2025, and I've always been, I was Minister of Health for Ontario, and I've always been in favour of the expansion of the scope of practice, and there are good signs happening with the Ontario government now. Particularly pharmacists. I was talking to a pharmacist yesterday, very pleased about their ability to expand their scope of practice to be able to treat minor illnesses in the pharmacy. And this is being played out across the country to a certain extent. The role of the federal government in healthcare, of course, is subject to the Canada Health Act. I have received a number of suggestions how we might want to amend the Canada Health Act going forward. So there's always more work to do, and hopefully we'll be in government in the next, after Monday and after the vote. And so we still have lots and lots of ideas how to make things even better.
Great, I think that's an excellent note to end on. So I will thank MP Minister Hodgson and MP Jazik for their time and their words, and for all of you for attending. I think we have some delicious dim sum to enjoy in the back there.
Can I have a last question for Minister Hodgson? All right. Yeah, my question is simple. Is that how's your adjustment from a businessman to become a politician?
Excellent question.
There's no higher calling than serving people, and it's an honor to work with all of my fellow colleagues to try and make Canada the best it can be. I'll end by saying this past weekend, many of us observed Remembrance Days, and on Tuesday we observed Remembrance Day, and I was really struck in talking with many veterans who have gone all over the world in service of Canada. And they all said the same thing. When we've been overseas, we see how it is for other people. This country is the greatest country in the world. This country is where people have come from all over the world to realize their Canadian dream. And so to be able to be a part of that, and be able to help with my colleagues at this difficult time is the most rewarding thing you could ever do, or I could ever do. So I feel very honored to be in the seat that I'm sitting in, and I feel honored to be sitting beside these colleagues.